Hi.
Oh, are we recording? Yes, we are. Okay,
Oh,
hi. It was like a very slow countdown on my end.
oh.
And I'm going to try to really project my voice this week.
Yes.
I've been wondering, like, why do I always sound so quiet? I even went to go so far as to buy the exact same microphone you had to just make sure that we're on like even playing field. And my sister was here this weekend, and she is a vocal engineer. Like, this is literally what she does for a living. And I was like, what's the problem with my microphone? She's like, I think Caitlin just projects her voice much better than you.
Okay. I love that she said tried to make it a positive because I
It is a
do feel
positive.
like, well, all of my life, my loud voice, my natural talking register is at least 3 times higher than normal. Like, if I had $1 for every time somebody in my family or my husband has said, stop shouting when I'm just like talking, especially when I get excited, it goes to like such a high degree. I mean, you would never see me again. I'd be a billionaire.
Well, it's also so funny because you're holding your microphone even further away from your face than I am.
Yeah.
I'm like eating mine, and yours is way down here, and still you're louder. Have you had your ears checked?
Oh my God.
No,
My ears
because Marley
have
was
been
screaming.
checked.
Marley was screaming at me last night. And I was like, why are you yelling? And then today he was like, wow, I think my entire right ear is blocked. I can't hear anything. And that's why I've been
Mm,
yelling. So I just
mm.
I just wondered. It's just out of concern.
No, I appreciate that. And I take that in. And I think it is more just I get excited and that just amplifies. But I'll never forget when I was dating, my uncle was like, one day you'll find that man who hears you screaming across the length of a football field and he'll be so happy to hear your voice. I just was like, okay,
And you
great.
found him.
I found him. Although we've had multiple conversations where, and this actually works both ways, where my husband will say, like, he admits, I don't listen to anything you say.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I can't totally blame you because a lot of the times, as we've talked about, you think to talk, I talk to think.
Right. External versus internal processors.
Exactly. So a
Yes.
lot of what is coming out of my mouth is total garbage that shouldn't be said out loud.
Fair.
Yeah. So I'll say to him sometimes, like, listen, I just need the act of me talking at another person and that person seeming to like receive what I'm saying, but I don't actually need you to take any of it in.
Okay. I love
So I
that.
will tell him that in advance.
That's very, very kind of you.
Yeah.
It reminds me too of this TikTok that's been going viral in the last week or so, where this guy, and I don't know any of his other content. He looks vaguely familiar. So I don't know. I don't know if this is representative of who he is or if it's just like a bad take or if it just got taken the wrong way. But it's basically this TikTok where the title is Things You Don't Need to Ask Your Husband.
Hmm.
And yeah, I can see your face. You're already like, I already don't like this. You
Hmm.
already you already know.
Hmm.
But okay, let me set the scene. So he
Okay.
starts to talk about all the things that he wishes his wife wouldn't ask him about. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, maybe he's just, gonna say, yeah, whatever you want is fine. And, you don't have to ask me permission for things like
Right.
that vibe. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
yes, immediately. Yes, I love that. But then it starts to get so he basically starts with saying, whatever activity you want to set the kids up for is fine. Don't ask me. It could be gymnastics, it could be swimming. I
I
don't
already hate that.
I don't care. Just sign them up. Yeah. Then he goes on to say, if you want to buy something and it's less than $600, don't ask me, just buy it. Then he says, if you want to go on a trip, go on the trip. I'll cancel my plans if I have any. You don't need to ask me, just go. And then he finally says, what's for dinner? I don't care. I've never not eaten anything you've made. Don't ask me, just make whatever you want.
Okay.
What are your initial reactions to that?
Okay. Okay. Well, this is why I should get on the YouTube because I feel like my face really revealed a lot of my initial reactions for that. And
It sure
when
did.
you said the title of that TikTok, my body immediately tensed and I was ready to get in fight mode.
You were ready for action immediately.
I was ready for action. Okay, I will say that the kid activity thing really bugs, and I
Yeah.
actually had a conversation about this with my husband because it was a similar thing, but his take was, you know, it all sound like I'm sure whatever you've thought of sounds great and like do it. My whole thing though is like I don't want these things just to be on me.
Right.
It shouldn't just be on me. Like, I don't need you to look it up. I'm happy if I'm the one doing the looking it up and finding it. That's just in my nature. That's not something. We've kind of talked about this a little bit before with like the fair play things. Like,
Right. Like that's just your strength.
that's just my strength.
Yeah.
I don't need him to do that.
Right.
But it's our child.
Mhm.
I don't want to be the only one figuring out what like sport he's going to play, because also that's kind of a lifelong thing.
It's a big decision.
It's a big decision. And I think those things absolutely should be conversations. So if my husband, and I think my husband said something like that, but again, not in the way that this guy did,
Right.
but more in a way of like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine because like whatever we pick, my son will love or whatever. Those things I for sure think need to be conversations.
Yeah.
Then
No,
you
I
agree.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think this this poor guy, he's probably like a really nice man. I don't know. I
Think
think
he's getting dragged, isn't
yeah,
he?
I think he's getting dragged, and I think it's probably going very differently than what he thought it would go like. I
Yeah.
think he thought he was being cool
Sweet.
husband. You don't have to ask me
Yes.
permission for anything, queen. You do whatever you want. And really, it's like what the subtext is, no, you just take care of everything and don't bother me with the
Exactly.
details of our life.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
That's not
Also,
okay.
a real the way the other half lives, because I'm sure this is the same way. Would you ever ask Marley, and maybe this is like a household where just the husband is making the money,
Right.
but I would never ask my husband for permission to buy something.
Never.
Never.
Never. And I mean, granted, I am the breadwinner. So.
Right. And also, granted, he should be asking me for permission to buy anything.
Exactly. That's how it
Like,
works in this household.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I think that the financial thing is probably different for everybody. And it definitely, who's making the money? Are you guys both bringing in money?
Right. Right.
What is your, financial situation?
Right.
I could see where you would, need to have those conversations for big ticket items sometimes. I will say I do sometimes feel guilty spending money on myself. So I will kind of like word vomit at Marley, like, okay, I have to go on this trip, and this flight is like this much, and the hotel's this much. Like, do you think that's okay? And really, I'm not asking for permission. It's more just me wanting him to validate that it's fine, and that like,
Yes.
I'm not going to put our family in financial ruin.
Yes, that I completely get. And to me, that feels more like less permission, where the power dynamic is uneven, and more partner of
Conversation.
like, hey,
yeah,
conversation. I want you to know I'm doing this. You know what's wild? So growing up, my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
yeah, same.
And she, though, would give my dad an allowance when technically it was the money my dad was making. But so that has been like instilled in me, which I'm so which I'm so thankful for, because you watch a lot of shows like Real Housewives where the husband is like making all the money and the woman has no idea what's going on with the finances because she's not involved. And then they always end up getting evicted or like
Always
sent to jail for fraud.
Never trust a man with all that stuff.
Never trust a man with all
No.
that. So I was raised where it's like, oh, no, managing all of the money is a woman's job.
Yeah, my mom did it all too. My mom would sit at the table and like do all of the bills, do all of the checkbook like balancing, all of that stuff. Yep.
Yes. Like regardless of who is making the money, that 1,000% should be the woman's job.
At least at least know what's going on.
Oh, 1,000%. You have to be very involved. But I would even say like, take it over.
Handle it.
Also, because how many situations are women in too where their husband is the breadwinner making all this money, they don't know what's going on, and then their husband like decides to leave them.
Right. Or that story we got a couple weeks ago where the husband's like wiring hundreds of thousands of dollars to his stripper mistress. Like, what
let
the
me
fuck?
tell you, if anyone was wiring money to a stripper, it was my mom, because she was the one controlling the finances. Like, she would be on alert.
I love it so much. Okay, so then the other part of it was, we talked about the kids' activity thing, but I was also saying, and I didn't see a lot of people talk about this aspect of it, but what I thought of was like, imagine your kids see that someday and they're like, oh wow, my dad just didn't give a shit about anything in my life. Like,
Totally.
Like, what message is that sending to your kids, that you just don't care about any of this stuff, that you're just so uninvolved? So anyway, I hated it.
I hate that too. And I also think the dinner thing is so triggering, and another thing that people don't get, because it's like we are constantly making decisions all day long.
Yep.
And the dinner is the last decision of the day.
And the
by
worst.
the time I get, and the worst, I'm like, I cannot take that on.
No.
I've literally taken on every other thing.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot take that on.
I would be fine eating. I mean, when me and Marley met, what I would eat for dinner would be like salami and grapes. Like, I just would have a dinner of charcuterie,
Right.
some
Well, you're
vegetables,
classy.
some crackers. Like,
Sure.
I was
a
like
little bird.
living my best girl dinner single
Yeah.
life. And once we got together, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, you really need
Yeah.
to eat a protein at every meal. Like, you really need things cooked. And I just it hasn't stopped since then.
Yeah.
And so to me it is very irritating if I say, "What do you want for dinner?" and he says, "I don't care."
Yeah.
I
But
can't
that's the time.
stand that.
That's the time, though, where, and I think you are the same, like, people, okay, when people online are like, my husband and I never fight, like, we're just so in sync, or like,
Shut
whatever.
up.
Shut up. Also, that's very unhealthy to me, because I think the healthiest relationship is when I say, what do you want for dinner? My husband says, I don't care. And I look at him and I say, you need to decide what is for dinner.
That's
I am not doing this.
That's love.
And that's love. And it's because I'm so safe, seen, and secure and held in my insanity.
You know what that
But, like,
reminds me of, though, is it's actually so true. There was this I forget what book or like what study it was, but me and Marley read this book, this parenting thing, or maybe it wasn't parenting, it was like psychology. I don't fucking know. But it basically talked about sibling dynamics. And this changed my perspective of my kids fighting forever. So it was basically saying, you know, how do we get our kids to be close later in life? How do we get siblings to like stay interested in each other's lives?
Yeah.
And they said that a bigger predictor was that they got along and had fun together in childhood, but also that they fought.
Wow.
And it was the siblings who were completely indifferent to each other and like ignored each other, and just, you know, there was like no conflict, but also really no love there. Those were the ones who ended up not being close later in life.
Wow. Well, isn't that what they say? Like, the opposite of love is apathy. It's
Right.
not hate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I think apathy in a marriage or in a relationship is a huge kiss of death.
Yeah. And I think the being like, oh, I don't care what's for dinner. You figure it out.
Right.
You decide.
Or just not caring in general about anything that's
Yeah.
happening in your own life. Like, that's not good.
No, it's not good. Now, I actually have started doing something different, and it feels very freeing for dinner time, which is that I love to cook, and I want to cook things that I actually want to eat. And the
Right.
things that I actually want to eat are things my children don't want to eat. And I'm tired of trying to come up with meals that my children won't eat, no matter how
Mhm.
much I deconstruct them and I
No.
like take them apart. And I still do that. However, I have decided once to twice a week, I'm cooking a recipe that I want to eat,
Mhm.
that my husband will eat, and my children are getting mac and cheese.
I love that. I love it.
I love it too. Because it's like, yes, we're all eating together.
Right.
I will give them bites of things, but like maybe I miss something that's spicy.
Totally. Oh my God, spicy food. Yeah.
And spicy from the beginning, and not just because I've had to take whatever bland dish I've cooked and put a bunch of spicy stuff on it. To
Right.
make it palatable.
Or like fish, or I don't know. What
Yeah.
else would my kids not eat? Yeah. No, that's actually so genius. We used to do that pretty much every night when we were first time parents, because we were putting our kid to bed at like 7. And so he would, you know, not eat because he was a baby, and we would put him
Right.
to bed, and then we would make whatever we wanted. And I remember that actually being such a tough thing to give up once we had more kids,
Yeah.
and once they started staying up later and like activities and all of that stuff, like it just, that fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
And I missed that so much because I feel like now I'm making things based on what they will eat. And my kids are not picky, but they definitely won't eat everything.
Right. Right. And it's just less fun, and it makes the whole cooking thing less fun. And I'm sure you'll come up with good things. And I do understand it's important for them to try new things, and I'll let them try it. But that the focus of the meal is not them, it's me.
I love that.
And that feels really good to me.
I love that. But like you said, they're still eating with you. They're still being exposed to something new. And if they like it and want more of it, great.
Exactly.
But you
And we
still
do
have their safe food, so you know that they'll eat something.
Exactly.
Genius.
Exactly.
Genius.
It feels so good.
Now, how did you handle Halloween candy?
Well, it's so funny you say that. I'm very thankful in that my children kind of both immediately forgot that it
Wonderful.
was a thing.
Wonderful.
We got back very late from Halloween and all went to bed. So there wasn't any like, go through the candy and divide it.
Mm-hmm.
We just immediately put it in a closet and then they never talked about it again. So then my
Wow.
husband and I just ate all of it. And then they saw the baskets. Actually, it was yesterday.
Oh.
And we then had to get it out. And my son was like, where did all my Twix bars go?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. So we looked at it again, and then I put it away, and they haven't brought it up again.
Great.
I know.
I love that for you.
What about yours?
Well, here's the thing.
Tell me.
You know, there are so many opinions about this on the internet. And we all know that I am chronically online, so I see all of the opinions.
Uh-huh.
Most, like, feeding specialists, food expert people, whatever, say don't put candy up on a pedestal. Don't make it a power struggle. Don't make it this huge deal. So usually what we've always done is we let them pretty much eat as much as they want on Halloween.
Right.
Which is maybe like 5 pieces.
Like while you're trick-or-treating.
Yeah, while we're trick-or-treating, when we get home, whatever. That's fine. And then we will have it like around for the next few days. They'll get to choose a couple pieces after dinner or, you know, with breakfast. I don't care. As long as you're eating a meal with it, whatever. And then usually it kind of just like fizzles out. And then once it seems like they've lost interest in it or they're not asking about it, we'll put it away. And then they totally forget about it.
Yeah.
But this is the first year that my toddler is really cognizant of what's happening. So she just turned 3. And last year,
so much easier when they're like kind of dumb.
That's the thing. Last year it was like, candy? What candy? And she was like, oh, okay.
Right.
And it was over.
Right.
And she is, funnily enough, like very fixated on the candy. She's asking where it is all the time. She is really not forgetting it. She's like a dog with a bone with this candy. So we're kind of just having to like whittle down her collection every day, where we let her have one, but then we also like throw 3 pieces away. Yes. So hopefully by, you know, next month,
yes,
it'll just all be gone.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hide it. I don't want them to sneak it. My middle child is actually very sneaky. She likes to hide it in her jewelry box and have this little collection of her own. Maybe it's like a middle child thing where they feel like they don't have anything of their own. So it's like her way of like getting her power back. And so we'll find all these wrappers in her bed every few days. Oh. And I just haven't had the energy to address that. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's a tale for another time.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that.
That's a future Rachel problem. I just can't be bothered with it right now. So anyway.
Well, I think though we put it away, but if my kids were like, where's the candy? I would give it to them. It's not like I just was like, I'd wonder. I didn't purposely leave it out because I didn't think they needed extra candy.
No,
but I do think also though the sneaky like hiding things, I get that, because something about like when you're a little girl having your own things,
your own
little
stash,
little secrets, and your own little stash, and like things in special places.
Yeah, I get it. So I'm not going to take that from her, but luckily her jewelry box is very small. It fits like 5 pieces, so we're almost done.
Okay.
We're almost done. But what are people doing with all this candy? Is most of it just ending up in the landfill? Because there is so much.
No, I think people are eating it themselves.
Really?
And I think people are, I don't know.
We got so many gross like paydays.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just peanuts,
I
think.
We did get a lot of.
What?
Like pretzels.
Okay.
Savory items.
Snacky things.
I loved it. And also Ruby Rose, the actress who, and I know Halloween was a while ago, but I feel like we never touched down on our Halloween experiences. But Ruby Rose, the actress who was on Orange is the New Black. She's been in other stuff. We trick-or-treated at her house.
What?
And she had like randomly lives in the neighborhood, I guess. Had this like trick-or-treat game where you pick a paper out of the bowl and it said trick-or-treat, and then depending you picked a bag.
Oh, cute.
And my daughter got super cute. My daughter got trick, and it had like a candy, and then it had a full size like really nice branded kids toothpaste. And wouldn't you know, that's been her favorite thing since she got it. She brings it with her everywhere.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, that is her prized possession. Like candy she doesn't care about, but every morning she's like, toothpaste?
Oh my God. It's so cute. Wait, that's genius. So did you see any other celebs while you were out and about?
Angela from The Office.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she greeted us. She had a witch's hat on. It was very cute.
Amazing. I love
Yeah, and
her.
then just Ruby Rose, which was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
incredible.
I'm going to pivot from this, and
Yeah.
when you mentioned chronically online, you sent me this article that had been going around
Yes.
from Vogue
Yes.
called "Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing?" And you said, "Read this before the podcast." I said, "Absolutely." We got on to start the podcast. You said, "I didn't read it." I forgot. Now, I will say, when you sent it to me, I assumed you had already read it and been like, "This is so interesting. We
No.
should talk about
No, no.
this."
I think what I said is we should read this. And then
Oh,
so I
okay.
gave you an assignment that I forgot to do,
Didn't do.
which is classic. But I do know the gist because I have seen reaction videos.
Yeah. Well, the
to
gist
it.
is in the title, too.
Totally. But I
Yeah.
will say a lot of people said that the title was very clickbaity and it wasn't actually making the argument that it is embarrassing to have a boyfriend. So give us
Yeah.
your cliff notes.
So it basically was about how having a boyfriend for so long was such a status symbol for women and girls, and how now, especially like people on social media, will like barely show if they have a boyfriend, whereas that used to be like their main status. Like, you know, somebody would get a boyfriend, their whole feed would be about that. And the author was saying that now when she sees certain people she follows get a boyfriend, she mutes them or will unfollow them because she's like not interested in like boyfriend content.
Okay, fair.
And that there's now like this, it went from being like, you know, a spinster cat lady to so many people like owning being single and romanticizing and glamorizing being a single woman and all of that. But you know what? It actually made me think a little bit, the saying how that woman mutes people, and then other content creators were like, "Oh yeah, when I said I got a boyfriend, I lost like hundreds of followers," and people commented saying like, "Please don't get a boyfriend."
What?
And I know, and it reminded me of a little bit, I think, people's reaction to Taylor Swift's album of
Totally.
I do think sometimes people find like happy people boring or not as entertaining or interesting.
Or if you're not happy, it's not as relatable.
It's not as relatable. But it is it is interesting because we've talked about, you know, how much we love our husbands before, but they like don't define us in any way, shape, or form, or like having a husband defines us in any way, shape, or form. And so that's basically what the article was. It's like people, yeah, it's not so much is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend, but it's not being the number one thing people are trying to claim, and sometimes they're trying to hide it.
Okay, I actually love that because my reaction to it was, I mean, it's tricky because, I mean, both of us have a son and a daughter. So for me, I was like, okay, I love that for my girls. Like, you guys don't need a boyfriend. Like, focus on yourself. That's so great. But then I was also like, but I don't want my son to be like a lonely incel. So,
Oh my God. Well, that's because I also saw something the other day that said there's like basically a new, it was some horrifying percentage of men or boys that have never talked to a girl before that are like asocial and asexual, and it's because screens and tech companies are purposefully isolating young men. And how scary that is, because I mean, I won't go, but you know, I also didn't know what incel stood for until like 2 days ago.
Wait, it's an acronym?
Yeah, it stands for involuntarily celibate.
Oh, that makes
so that's the whole thing that comes together. And it makes so much sense.
And the involuntary is key.
Is the key because that's why they like hate women and are all about like pro men's rights.
Oh my God. Okay, that makes so much sense. All right, so anybody that's listening that is interested in this, I highly recommend.
I thought you were going to say that is an incel?
No, Jesus Christ, get off our podcast. No, you guys should read Boy Mom because it talks a lot about this.
I need to read that.
And the part that I thought was so interesting was how she talked about the fact that like Gen Z, they don't have awkwardness anymore. Like they're not vulnerable with each other. They're not awkward with each other. They don't experience rejection anymore because everything is done behind a screen. And you don't have to really be that vulnerable to communicate behind a screen with your peers. And it's like young boys now don't have the experience of like going up to a girl and asking her to dance, or like those things
Right.
that really build character and make you comfortable with rejection. And then later on, when they're in the dating pool, it's like they can't stand if a woman says no to them, and they just like can't fucking handle it.
Right.
And it really, it's so, so scary. Like, we need to keep our kids off social media and off video games and off screens and stuff like that for as long as humanly possible. Like, I
Yeah.
really am terrified of that.
Well, I'm getting back into a landline
I love
when my
that.
kids are older.
I want to get them one for Christmas, actually.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that.
Because that way they can still call their this is what my husband and I talked about it once, because I mean my son's 4.5. Who's he calling on the phone?
Well,
but when we get there, we're going to do a landline, and we're getting a desktop family computer.
Yes.
That has
in the
a
living
designated
room.
spot in the living room.
Yep.
Like how we all used to have those shrines in our living rooms or dens.
Yep.
The computer.
Yep.
That is the shared family computer.
Mhm.
You go on that for whatever you need.
Mhm.
You know what? This reminds me of something that I was going to talk about on my Instagram. See, I'm getting excited. So probably everybody turn your volume down a little bit. I'll move the mic down. My mic is so far away from my face.
And yet.
I feel like I'm so loud. Okay. So I'm interested in your take on this. I was reading something, and it was talking about, and by the way, every time Rachel and I say we read something, we definitely saw it.
It was a video.
On social media.
Yeah. Read an article means saw a video.
Or read an article. It was like, I saw Time Magazine or New York Times parents posted a carousel.
I
with
saw the headline.
Biggest
Yeah.
pull quotes. Yeah. Okay. So it was all about how we were bedroom kids and we are raising living room kids. So what that means is like we were kids that played in our rooms and we are raising kids that play in our living rooms. I would like to take a formal stand against that. I do not agree to have living room children. I do not want living room children.
How do I create bedroom children?
I want to create bedroom children. And I think that's actually better for the children too. And here is why. Because except for the computer, I'm not talking about like screens, tech, all of that I do think needs to be out in the open.
Yeah.
However, do you not recall being like a 7-year-old girl making your Barbies kiss?
Oh, totally.
Doing like, you have to have that private time to like experiment through your weirdness.
You have to have
like
private time with your Barbies.
With your Barbies. And like, that's the time when you cut your American Girl's hair and like, you just do the weird shit that you shouldn't be doing, but that's important for kids to do. You're like acting out these things. And like, I think that's okay for kids to want to do like play sometimes without an adult watching them. Like,
oh, for sure. I do too.
Yeah, that like hampers kids' imagination. And like, I understand too, there might be, settings where, I'm thinking about like kids playing doctor or something, or like settings where that's not appropriate, whatever.
Right.
But like, leave the door open. But I think we are taking too much privacy away from our children. I also don't want to be around my children all the time.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. And I think we are not at that stage yet because our kids are still little. So they want to be up our asses all the time. I think probably once they hit a certain age, they will be more willing and they will want to also have some time to themselves to play. And I think that's okay. I think that the whole bedroom kid versus living room kid is more so like we were raised to be like seen and not heard, to be.
Yeah, but is that so bad?
Quiet? No. I mean,
it's fantastic to me.
From the parent perspective now, I totally get it. I'm like, but I think that's
so wrong.
I think that's more what it is like we're raising kids now to know that like our home is their home too, and like they can take up space in our homes and all of that stuff. Do I love that? No, I literally I was just thinking on my way up here as I passed all of the rooms that my kids have claimed as their own.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I'm going to have a nervous fucking breakdown today if I see one more toy or one more. My chairs are everywhere. My rug is like pulled up. There's nugget couches fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
There's stuff on every table, every counter, every surface.
Yeah.
It's, sometimes, and their bedrooms are pristine because they never play in their bedrooms. So it's like, maybe I should just hang out in there.
Yes. I would love for them to take up space and feel the house is theirs.
In their rooms.
In certain parts of the house. And that is their bedrooms. Like,
I know. I think it's also like a space thing. I mean, we both live in cities. When I grew up, we lived in the middle of nowhere. So we had a bigger house with lots of space. And so we had a designated playroom.
Mm.
which was really nice. And I know lots of people around the country have like basements or something like
Right.
that where you just let the kids go wild and they can
Right.
make
That
a
would be
mess and it
amazing.
doesn't matter. I know I would kill for a basement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it probably depends on where you live too, like what spaces you have available. But I also do think, I think our time will come.
Yeah, I hope
And I
so.
think when our kids are at the ages where they want to shut themselves in their rooms and like jerk off all day, we're going to probably miss these days
Right. But
where
again,
they're
like
around.
that is an important part of growing up. Like we can't take that from our
We
kids.
won't. We're not taking it from them. They have
Yeah.
access to their. I'm not locking them out of their bedrooms. Like they're free to go in there whenever
Right.
they want. I
I
wish
think it's
I wish they would take advantage more.
yeah.
But my point is, I think that time is coming. I think our kids are just
Yes.
still very little, and they just want to be around where we are.
Yeah, and I think part of it, I'm sure, has to do with 100% the fact that our kids are littler. So it's like I do need to have some eyes on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I keep some toys in the living room. But like growing up, we didn't have toys in the den. They
Oh,
were
no,
all in our rooms.
My mom would actually have a nervous breakdown if there was one single thing in the kitchen or the living room.
Yeah. And I think, you know why I also think this is important? Because I remember distinctly then seeing my mom sitting on the couch and reading magazines, reading a book. And I think that is also something our kids don't ever see us do, which is, well, two things. One, read.
Yeah.
And two, take time to just do something that isn't productive,
right?
Isn't
it's just
like
leisure
busy work.
Yeah,
it's leisure, and leisure time is so important. And I think we've talked about how kids have schedules that are so insane and overpacked, and leisure time is not a thing. And I think that is such an important thing for kids to learn. And I also think they will only learn that if they are away from us for a little bit.
True. Well, I think also seeing us model that is really good.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us are always on our phones. And even if we're reading on our phone or ordering groceries on our phone or, paying the bills on our phone, all of the things that we just have to do, they don't know what we're doing. So to them, it just looks like we're zoning out on our screens all the time.
Totally. This is my workaround for that. Anytime I'm on my phone in front of my kids, I tell them what I'm doing. So I will say, Mommy is sending a work message really, really fast, and then I'm done. Or Mommy is ordering us dinner right now, and then I'm going to be done. So I make it very clear. I'm not just like, because imagine having to say, Mommy is doom scrolling right now. Mommy has found some weird niche Instagram explore page thing that she's deep into right now. Come back later. Like if you just say that out loud, you would never do it. And so I never do it.
So true.
But I make it,
okay, that's good.
But so I make it very clear because I also don't want to be doing that in front of my kids anyways.
No. Yeah.
And this is actually something I started doing. Now, I know you are doing spa time during bath time, so I might invite you to add this to your spa routine. But when my kids are doing bath, before I was just like sitting there or I was on my phone. I now purposefully bring my Kindle in and I show it to them and I say, this is Mommy's book. Mommy is going to sit down and read.
I love
so that they see me reading because they don't need like full eyes on them. Somebody in my DMs was like, oh, the key is you actually put the Kindle inside a real book. So it looks to them like you're reading.
Like
because
you're reading
that
a book.
again,
I love that.
I'm such a big reader. Like
you fly through books.
Fly through them, but it's such a huge core part of my personality and was such a huge. Am I about to start crying thinking about books?
Oh my God. Take a moment.
I don't know. Well, but like finding books that meant something to me also like as a child or a teenager, just like unlocked something in me that I would have never found and made me, I think, who I am. And because of phones, kids are just not seeing parents read. And I think that is how they get into reading. And so I'm all the time like, oh, this, and I wish I read hardcover books more, but it's just hard because when I'm like putting my daughter down, I can't have like a giant book light.
Yeah.
So I'm on my Kindle. But regardless, my point is that I'm unwell.
Your point is that you're a reader and you want your kids to see you reading. And I think that's so important too. We do the same thing.
Because again, that's like goes back to the leisure thing too of like, I'm taking this moment where I'm going to just sit here next to you and I'm going to read. And also, I'm not going to devote all of my time to you. Like you guys don't need me
to entertain.
Talking to you.
No. So I can't just like dip in and out of books is my thing, where I need to like sit down and
Mm,
actually get into it. If I just read a few paragraphs or something, I can't do it. So the bath
got
time
it.
I think is really not for me. I like my spa time during their bath. I like to
Yes. Well, you've got that locked in.
wash my face, do my skincare. So they see me like taking care of myself. And actually my son gave me a compliment last night after I did my skincare that my skin looks like rubber. So he said, "Mommy, after you put all that stuff on your face, it really looks rubbery." And I was like, "Thank you, son. That's exactly
I
what
love
I'm
that
going
so
for."
much. So much.
Wait, back to the husband thing. I wanted to ask you something because we um like switched our kids' rooms recently, speaking of
Oh, yeah.
bedtime and stuff. So we moved my son into his own room, we moved the girls into their bunk room. So we've been doing a lot of just like reshuffling, redecorating, stuff like that. And I told you, Marley is not handy.
Right.
And you were shocked by that. So
Shocked.
I wanted to hear some of your qualities in your husband that would shock us, because for me that was like I felt like I was catfished when
Well, because I said to you, Marley physically presents as somebody who would be very handy.
and yet
And yet, so he can't, like, what is it? Does he have tools?
he has tools. He
Right.
has, the drill, the tool bag, the level.
Sure.
He even has like a little laser thing that does something
Yeah.
when you put it on the wall. I don't know. He has a stud finder. Like he has all the things.
Right.
He knows basically how to use them.
Right.
But there is like he hired a TaskRabbit to hang our TV a couple weeks ago to mount our TV.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, Sheena's Rob
Wow. Yeah.
would never get Rob over here.
I was just gonna
He
say,
will hang
wow,
that TV in 7 minutes.
my internalized misogyny is flaring. Oh no.
But I was like, actually, it was so funny. The TaskRabbit was like,
A woman.
no, but
No.
he was a very sweet man. And he played a prank on Marley while he was here,
Taking him when he's down.
which I was like, I love you so much. Can you come over every day? He basically started drilling into the wall, and then he was like, oh no.
Oh my God.
And then he was like, this isn't going to work. And Marley like ran into the room, and he was like, wait, what happened? You just drilled into her. And he's like, just kidding.
Oh my God. I love that so much.
I was like, I
And
am
if-
giving you such a fat tip for that.
If I was a TaskRabbit, I would do that every single time. That's like yesterday I went
So
to the
good.
little store and I bought lotto tickets. Every time I buy a lotto ticket, I can't not say, okay, I'd like 1 Mega Millions, 1 Powerball, and I'd love for the winning numbers, please. And then I laugh so hard, like they've never heard that. And they always look at me like, okay. And I'm just like giggling to myself, like, another good one. I do it every time.
Do you play the lotto every week?
So I wouldn't say I have a gambling addiction,
Okay.
but I would say,
Because Marley buys them.
okay, I would say though, if I'm in a store where they have them, I'll always buy one. And I won't do
Wow,
it time,
okay.
but and it's just like fun. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, at the very end of pregnancy, I was like walking every day, and I would walk to the corner store to buy a lotto ticket. And then I was pregnant, I'd be like, you got, college is expensive, like got to pay for this one. And they'd be like, you said that yesterday.
They're like, must you do a bit every time you come in here?
Every time I do the exact same bit, and I just have a great time doing it. It makes me so happy. But so that your TaskRabbit, that would 1000% be me every time.
It was so good. It just made me so happy.
I love that. Now, I will say, actually, on the other side, my husband, and we were talking about this today because I asked him, my husband is surprisingly handy.
Okay, I love that for you.
And he said, though, if we were like in the 1950s, he would not be considered handy at all. But
Because people back
today's-
then like built their own homes. I mean,
right, exactly.
come on.
But he said in today's day and age, he thinks he is handier than the average person.
Wow,
His
okay.
dad is super handy, like
Okay.
fixes cars. We had this weird thing happening with our door where it was like not fitting. His dad came over and like shaved down part of the door. My
Wow.
husband, I will say, he will build things. He's good at that. But every time he builds something, one part of it
Always.
is done wrong and then
Yes.
has to be. So like he built a bookshelf and realized when it was done that it was like backwards or something, or like two of the shelves were upside down. So then of
Exactly.
course
Yep.
he had to cry. Well, he didn't cry. He cried, which was yelling a lot of fuck and just like swearing and sweating, and fixed it. We got like a bidet and he installed it and then was like all done, but he had like forgotten to put part of the toilet seat back on. So I was like, well, no, you need to take it back off and like put the toilet seat back on. Like,
Wait,
so he does.
which bidet do you have? I'm very interested in this.
Well, this was in our old apartment, so we left it behind.
Oh, and you haven't gotten a new one, so it wasn't that
We
great.
haven't gotten a new one.
Okay.
Well, we didn't have to get a new one because this might be a little TMI. We moved into a home that two gay men were previously living in.
Oh, so they had it.
So
They
they
had
already had it.
Yeah, they had it ready to go.
They had it set up.
Their facilities were
Spot on.
top notch.
Top notch. But actually, it's very fascinating because on the closet for us, our bedroom closet, there was no like long hanging area for dresses.
Oh, right. They didn't need that.
Because they didn't need that.
Hmm.
So like all of my dresses are just like hitting like.
But you know what? I'm sure the whole house was so clean.
The inspector was like, I've never seen a house this top like he was like, I have no notes. Like he was. Now of course it was turned into like an absolute garbage heap. Like we
Well-
haven't done anything. And when they moved out, they gave us a notebook of like, here's how we've maintained the house. We do this 2 times a year. We do this 3 times a year. Here are the numbers. Here's extra paint to match all the colors. Here's da da da.
You're like,
Do you know
wow,
how
I'm
many
never
times
going to
we've
use this.
done any of the things that they did?
No.
Not a once. Not a single time.
That is so thoughtful, though.
So thoughtful. It was so nice.
Wow.
I'm just going to tell the other people, like, burn it down before you move in and start over. Because I don't know what we've done here, but this can't be right. It's a real mess. I hate that I'm not, and I'm going to say it's because of having young children, that I'm just not, like, as on top of those things as I wish
Me
that I
either.
was.
Like washing the
I'm-
windows, cleaning the baseboards.
Yes.
I'm not doing any of that.
I'm not doing any of that. And I don't say, and like, I'm not somebody who has ADHD. I'm not somebody, I hate people trying to tell me I'm type B and because like, I'm not type B. I'm
No.
just somebody who has learned to not give a fuck about certain things.
You have to prioritize. Yeah.
You have
exactly.
to prioritize. And like, but I saw something that's like type B mom will like sleep through her alarms. It's like, I would never sleep through my alarm.
No.
That's something I would ever do.
I hate when people equate type B with being a hot mess.
Yes,
who is not
yes.
responsible and like who can't function. It's like,
Exactly.
no, I'm just not anal retentive about literally every detail of my life.
Exactly. And that's what I hate, because I also hate me. It's like when I'll share something on Instagram of, oh, this is like what I did for my kid's birthday. And it's just like a very chill kind of 90s style with
Yeah.
balloons. And it's at our house and like a banner from Party City or something. And people will, I'll have to sometimes clarify it and be like, I am not saying this as like I type B, I don't care mom. I'm saying like, I'm happy with what I did. This wasn't
Right.
like I'm doing the bare minimum because kids don't need it. No, this was what I wanted to do. This was my intent. This
Right.
wasn't me. Like, I think this is fantastic what I've
Right.
done.
Right. I love that. The
Yeah.
birthday thing has gotten so out of control. We just
It's
had
been so out of
2
control.
birthdays, which is way too many. If you're family
Yeah.
planning, like don't have more than one kid be born in the same week if you can help it. Do you write thank
Wait,
you
did you ever
cards?
figure out what you were doing 10 months before that time? What was it?
Well, when we conceived our third, we were thinking, basically I got my IUD out because we decided we were going to have a third.
Mm-hmm.
And we just assumed it would take a few months. And like I'm
Oh.
not saying this to be glib. Like I know so many people struggle with fertility, so
Right.
I'm so sensitive to that. But for me, it just happened very quickly, and so it wasn't necessarily the ideal plan to get pregnant in the first month of trying.
Got it.
But we just assumed like, yeah, let's just start now because
Right,
who knows?
right.
It could take a year. Like you never know. So yeah, so it just wasn't properly planned.
Got it.
But okay, so we just had all these birthday parties, and we usually say no gifts because our kids get plenty of gifts
Right.
from family and stuff like that. And you know, I don't want other parents to feel like they have to buy my kids something. I just want you to come to the party and have fun. But of course, some people, I think it's a cultural thing for a lot of people. They feel like they can't show up at a party without a gift, or, you know, their kid just really wants to get something for my kid, whatever. So we did end up with a bunch of gifts, which is, again, very thoughtful. Very nice. But now I'm like, do we need to write thank you cards? That was something that my mom was always militant about. We had to write thank you cards for any gift we ever got. And I do like that idea, but now that I'm the mom that's having to force my kid to write them, I'm ready to say never mind and just send a thank you text. Is that bad?
Yeah. So here are my thoughts. One, I continue to refuse to give children birthday presents, even if they don't say don't give them. And I went to a birthday party recently for a very dear friend, and I put on my entire charade, and I even got my son involved. And I said, oh my God, we forgot the present again. This is the third year in a row. How do we keep doing this? And my son walked up to the birthday girl and went, we forgot your present at home. And I was like, good job. I didn't tell him to lie. Okay. But he saw what mama was doing. He saw the show I was putting on, and he said, I'm going to help her out. And I loved that. And so I was like, oh my God, I'll have to give it to you next time I see you. I didn't buy a fucking birthday present.
I hope this friend doesn't listen to the podcast.
I don't think she does, but okay. I have a feeling she might have caught on to my grift anyways.
I'm just going to say, third year in a row, it's
okay. I mean, now, the second thing is we got invited to a birthday party. And on the invite, they included a wish list of presents, suggestions for us to buy.
No.
And there are two things in this world that make me irrationally angry. One, people parking in front of my house, even though it is a public street. They should never park there. Two, people being so presumptuous to think that people will buy presents for their child, like from a wish list, who's not, it's not like it's Christmas. I'm not their grandparents where you got to control so they don't like buy something crazy.
Right, no.
I hated that so much.
That's wild.
Because to me, I'm like, if you want your kid to get that toy so much, you buy it. I'm not here to do your work.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I know that, like, again, I think it's cultural for some people where you just always bring a gift. I know in our generation growing up, we always brought birthday presents to friends' birthday parties. But I think now our generation kind of realizes these kids have too many fucking toys.
Yes.
So let's not. And let's also not inconvenience each other where you need to go buy a gift. Like, just come to the party. That's present enough for my kid to have all of their friends here having a good time.
Yes. Now, I also think it's different when they're older and it's like, oh, what do you think your friend would like? And then your child can help pick something out, or you can do something like cute like that.
True.
I think that goes back to the thank you card thing, I will say, which also when I was getting baby gifts for my daughter, I was like, okay, well, I said to my son, I said to my husband, I'm only writing thank you cards for my family and friends. You need to write them for your side of the family. Why is it my responsibility to write every single thank you card?
That's very
I'm not
fair.
doing that.
No,
like,
it's
why
both
did
of
I
your
do
kid.
that?
Yeah.
It's both of our kid. And if it's coming from your people, you write it. So guess who didn't get thank you cards?
His whole side.
Yeah, and my whole side also, because then I was like, I don't want to fucking do this either.
If he's not doing it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say, I do think thank you cards, especially when they can write them themselves, I think should be done. And I also think something I say this every year, and maybe this year will be my actual year, but I would like to get back into being somebody who sends cards to people in the mail.
Do you guys do a holiday card?
We do a holiday card.
Okay.
My aunt, though, is so good. Every single birthday and even our anniversary, we get a card in the mail.
Cute.
And I think getting things in the mail is so fun. Getting cards is so fun. And I want to be somebody who does that. Like,
that really is something the boomers have going for them. They're very good at mail and cards and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I want to be good at mail.
I do too.
Should we do that? Should we make a pact?
Yeah, that could be like our New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Be good at mail.
Be good at mail. And then the men in our lives can also make that pact with themselves in their own way.
Oh, God, I'm not holding my breath for that. Wait, what was Tyler's, really quickly before we go, what is Tyler's, like, catfish quality?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think his reverse catfish was that he is good at he is more handy. I can only think of reverse ones because he also, sorry. No, but he is like if you look at him, and I think this is the same with Marley, they both look like they would be bros.
Yeah.
And they're not bros.
Yeah.
at all, but they present as bros.
That's so true,
So
actually.
I think that is a positive reverse catfish. And I would actually, again, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to say that people that are good at math look a certain way, but my husband is surprisingly good at math.
Wow, I love that.
Where we will go out to dinner and he'll know, like, to the cents what the bill will be, and it's all mental, and it's in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, are you a savant?
Wow, I'm
And
so
then
jealous
also, like,
of that.
why aren't you using this in any way except
Right.
for just like a fun party trick?
Use it for good. Tell him to start investing in some stuff.
You'd be like a Rain Man or something.
Yeah. Play
But
the
no, he
stocks.
just
Wow. Okay.
yeah. But I couldn't. Yeah, I would say it's more that they look like they would be bros when really they're just like total sweetheart softies.
No, it's so true. Sometimes Marley will say, like, do you think the other dads just think I'm a dumb bro and like they don't want to be my friend?
That's so sweet.
It's so sad. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't like shave your head and and like maybe take a couple weeks off from the gym.
Well, I feel, yeah, he must kind of not. I mean, I would assume like the San Francisco dads are all wearing like plaids and then those like vests.
They are. And yeah, I mean, actually, I will say it's a very different vibe from our kids' schools because one is at a private preschool and one is our others are at a public school, and the vibes are very, very different. We're actually we really like a lot of the families that are at
Oh, I love that.
our public school because they're very, I don't know, just like down to earth.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
But
still need to get our soft bros together.
I know. Well, we need to plan a trip and just like full
somebody send
it.
us anywhere.
Yeah,
I know we put out this request last time. We didn't get any bites.
Shocking. No, we do because the last time they were together, Marley was very stressed.
Oh, very stressed. He was not. It was not the time.
It wasn't his best showing.
No.
All right, wrapping up.
Yes.
Housekeeping. We just chose a new book for our November book club.
Yes.
Which I guess by the time this comes out, it will be several weeks.
We're gonna
in,
edit that out. We're pretending this is
so
our current.
So
book
a couple weeks ago, we chose our book club book. If you are just joining us now, you can jump right in. We're already like halfway through it. It is called The Compound.
Yes. Now, The Compound was, I think it'll be interesting because it was very highly, we were having people vote and it was the second choice, but only by like off by 6 votes. So it wasn't like a weird like landslide situation. And it's shorter than the one that won. And because
by
this
like
is
half.
a shorter month,
yeah,
by like half. And we wanted to take into account the fact that with Thanksgiving and, people aren't going to necessarily have all of the time that they might have had before. It's a little dark.
Okay. That's
But
fine.
I think that's okay. And why I wanted to read it was because a lot of people that read it said, I really wanted to discuss this with someone.
Oh, okay. So it's a perfect book club choice.
Exactly.
Then.
That's
okay,
what I
great.
think.
And then for whoever else wanted to read, the second choice was, or the second top highest.
Well,
choice.
technically the first.
Technically the first. I'm like, wait.
Was either Project Hail Mary or the Hail Mary Project.
We don't know. It's one of those. But I did get lots and lots of DMs saying it's a wonderful book, but you must do the audio book version if you're going to listen or if you're going to read it, because the audio is supposed to be like an insanely wonderful experience.
Right.
So
right.
I am still going to listen to that one too.
Yeah. Well, and you never know. We could do it in January because we wanted December one to be kind of like cozy wintry.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly. And merch. Do you have a merch update?
Well, when this comes out, it will be out. Hopefully.
Oh, right. Okay, great. So buy the merch, everyone. Batching episodes is really not for me.
There are so many times you said things where I had to be like, weeks ago.
By the way, Halloween was a long time ago.
Yeah, like, stop talking about Halloween.
All right. That's it for housekeeping.
Okay, you know what? We're just going to be honest. I'm going to leave this in. Everybody, we recorded this early because my pregnancy episode is coming out before, but we wanted to record this anyways just to have something. So that's why.
Exactly.
We'll be back to our regular scheduled programming because this did not work out for us.
We really need to keep things current. But we tried. All right.
You also were like, we just had 2 birthdays. And I'm like, that was
Weeks
technically
ago.
3 weeks ago.
Last month. You know what? The people don't care. They're just here for a good time.
100%. Okay. On that note, you're the best.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please continue to rate and review if it's very, very positive and sweet and says only glowing, wonderful things about us. Okay.
Yes, please. We're delicate.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, so it's going to be an hour. Great.